Okay. We live? Okay, I'm back. 30 minutes after I got on Ben, I'm here. Let's go. I'm excited. Trying a different topic today. Having a little bit of fun. See if we can get some interesting conversations going here. Yeah, can a dating reference be racist / bigoted? A good friend, not a good friend, somebody I've recently met who's a nice dude, Barney TikTok, had a similar topic, and I wanted to talk about it a little bit. Pretty excited overall. Thank you for the likes already. Thanks. Dang, so I can't even see who liked, but thank you so much. Thank you so much. Another thing is I turned on subs, so that's cool. It's very cool. Very excited for today's stream. Yeah, but today we're talking about, can a dating preference be racist or not? Or just bigoted generally. That can include other sorts of like minorities or community, not just minorities, just any sort of exclusionary dating preferences, right? Can an exclusionary dating preference be racist or something like along those lines? It's a bit of a broad question. I know what my opinion is very specifically, which is yes. Like obviously, I think you can obviously have a dating preference that is racist. You can have any sort of preference specifically that is racist. No, okay, that's cool. Nerd rage. I'd like to hear an argument there. But yeah, I think if an opinion is based off of what's it called, like a preconceived notion that is either incorrect or just kind of malicious or something like that, it's obviously, I feel like is going to be racist. There isn't an argument. I just showed you the argument. Yeah, who cares? No, date who you like. I never said that people can't date who they like. Personal choice is personal choice. I never said that people can't have personal choices. That's not my argument. I like one of all colors, more about face type and body type. Yeah, that's a good point. I think that's a pretty solid point. I think a lot of the dating preferences come down to like just what you visually like, which is fine, right? Asian fever, I don't know what you mean by that. Okay, cool. Everyone has their type, period. It depends on what we mean there. So if I were to say that I don't date like white people because they're stinky or something like that, right? That we would obviously agree that that's racist and that's not good. I feel like is that not? What do y'all think about that? People thought about being people throw around being racist too much. That's probably true. I think it's probably fair. I don't think I'm using it in a way that's not sufficient here, though. Why do people care what the hell you think? I don't know. Why do you care? If you don't want to hear me, bro, just leave. Nope. Yeah, that's racist. Thank you. What? Yeah, I'm just using an example, right? If you have a preconceived notion about a certain group of people, and you use that preconceived notion to make an opinion about who you would date, and that preconceived notion is like malicious in some way, that's it would be by origin, right? That belief would be racist. Of course that would be racist. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I agree. Like anything like that kind of opinion, if you are exclusionary in like the ways in which you select for people that you're dating, depending on how you exclude people, it can be racist or not, or bigoted in some way. Yeah, if it's based upon an idea or an opinion of a group of people that is wrong or just like bad in some way, then yeah, that could therefore make that said preference be like less valid, right? There you go. Good save. Asian women have a better culture. I don't know how I saved that. Asian women have a better culture. I don't know about that. Everything is racist. If I'm proud to be white. Hey, what's up, Barney? I'm proud to be white. It's racist, but it's okay to be proud to be black, brown. I was just talking about you, Barney. It's okay to be proud to be black. I don't know why people would take pride in their race. What did you do for your race? I don't know. I feel like if we're taking pride in something, it would be more like the things that we do, the ways that we speak, the more things you have control over. But I don't think like black and brown people are immune to being racist. They obviously could be racist as well. Everyone does though. Everyone does what? Walker syndrome. Hey, Walkers. Thank you for the likes. God did 87. Thank you for the likes. I appreciate it so much. Thank you. At 177 likes. Pretty nice. He has a point. Who has a point? The people saying no are just mad. That's probably true, yeah. Listen, I'm not saying anything. Everyone has been racist. People can be racist. I don't think I don't think everyone is always racist. Can immoral people stop being racist and stop living in a racist world instead of moving ahead? What does that mean? Can immoral people stop being racist and stop living in a racist world instead of moving ahead? I don't know what you mean by that. like a little. Thank you, Digironis, for the likes. Thank you all for the likes. I appreciate it again. And hey, everybody who's joining as well. Guest requests are on. So if anybody wants to come up here and talk about this specifically, if you disagree with me, I'd love to talk. It'd be great. Yeah. But yet again, as I was saying though, the idea that like somebody could have an opinion about somebody where it's like, I don't like a certain race because of X, Y, or Z, right? And that like is wrong. If you could say that opinion is wrong, and then your dating preference is based off of that opinion, wouldn't it make sense to say that dating preference therefore is also racist? Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Anon, for the hand heart. I appreciate that so much. Thank you, buddy. Mufasa, no. Noah Monks, thank you for the like. I saw Barney like there. Thank you, Barney, for the likes. I think I saw Cajun like it as well. Thank you, guys. It can be if it meant to be on purpose, I guess. If it's meant to be mean or on a purpose, I guess. Okay, motherfucker. What the fuck are you saying? It can be if it's meant to be mean on a purpose, I guess. I think you're trying to say it can be if it's meant to be mean on purpose. I don't owe nobody a reason why I don't want to talk to them. No one said that you owe anybody a reason, my friend. How about stop thinking about stop thinking everything everyone says or does can be racist. I'm not saying that everything that somebody can do can be racist. There are certain things that people could do that could be racist, right? But I'm not saying that everything people do is racist. That's not how I think. Do people actually think having a type is racist? Where did I say that? Did anybody say that? I don't think anybody said that. Okay, first of all, anybody can date who they want. Doesn't mean they are racist. I didn't say that either. I didn't say that any of that. Yeah, sorry, I accidentally. Yeah, I got you. To respond to that, I'd say that like somebody could not on purpose have a dating preference that is racist. Like if you have a belief that is wrong, like there are some racist people who aren't trying to be racist, right? But that's not super relevant. But yeah, I think I agree. It can be for sure. Dr. K Sinner, 2032.6.0 did trash can fire. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate that comment. Let me explain. Sure, you can hop on in or just explain in the comments. Why does everything has to be racism nowadays? Not everything. Everything does not have to be racism nowadays. Thank you, Cajun, for the likes. I'm just saying, can I give an example? Let's say I don't date any white people because I think they're stinky. That's probably like a racist thing to say, or I want to further my Mexican genes or something like that. That's pretty fucking racist, we'd say, right? Because I think my genes are superior to everybody else's. That's pretty racist. I don't believe that, any of what I said, but these are examples of things that, like a dating preference that could be racist or in any way. Thank you again for the hand heart. I feel so bad because Anon 8752. Thank you for the hand hearts. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Well, that's mean. It's a little bit mean. Come on now. Is anything I said not an example of something that could be racist? I think race preferences are racist regardless. What do you mean by that? You think any racial preference is racist? Let's say, I don't know, that I haven't particularly found anybody who is not like Mexican to be attractive to me. If I have a dating preference to only date Mexican people, is that racist at that point? That's a question I'll have for you. Can someone have a preference? Yeah, sure. There are all types of reasons to have all types of preferences. There are just some preferences that could be more valid or less valid than others, right? Can we agree with that? No, it can't. No, because a preference is a preference. Well, preferences can be exclusionary, for example. Let's say my preference is that I never want to date anybody outside of my race, right? Depending on that reason could be racist or not. If I don't want to date anybody outside of my race because I believe that my race is superior, that obviously would be racist. Bro, you can't even speak Spanish, boy, bye. I can definitely speak Spanish, my friend. No, I'm Mexican and only date my race. That's good for you. Depending on the reason, that could be bad or not, right? Most if it's a cultural preference, not a race preference. So that's something I've heard a lot. But when we talk about cultural preferences, what does that mean? Does that mean there are certain values that you want somebody to have? I can agree with that, right? Like at that point, that's obviously not racist, right? But at that point, it's not a preference based on race. It's more of a preference based off values and opinions and ideas, right? Not necessarily what somebody was born with. Man speaking facts. Thank you, Tim Sims. I appreciate you, my dude. Of course, it could be prejudice and racist. Yeah, of course, I agree. All of you that say about marry your own kind are black folks, so is racist. Then, yeah, it is. I'd say a lot of. I wouldn't say that that's the only time I see that kind of opinion, but yeah, there are certainly some black people who share that opinion, and I don't agree with that. Obviously, you can have a preference. you can have a preference, but solely not dating someone just because of their race/culture is racist. Um, so in terms of like someone's culture, I feel like that's slightly different. If someone's culture is to like hate all people with left hands, I don't know. That's like probably like it's okay to hate somebody in that way, or like not want to date somebody like that if they have backwards beliefs, right? That's less based off of race, more based off of opinions, ideas. What I said before. I think we should start selective breeding. That's an opinion you have there, my friend. In terms of dating cultural, it's more about social practices and interests more than values. That's an interesting perspective there. So when you say it's about social practices and interests more than values, what do you mean by that? Are you saying that two people who are kind of culturally unaligned have less to talk about? Or what do you mean when we're talking about dating specifically? What if I don't agree with gay? You know what, Epic Gamer, Sean? I don't know what to tell you, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. I agree, but in some cases, racist is okay. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's probably true. I think having a prejudiced belief against somebody is probably not the way to go. I'm glad you're discussing this, though. I think this topic is interesting. Sure, for sure. Thank you, buddy. Everyone has likes and dislikes, even when dating. Enough of the race and bigoted shit. Sure, sure, man. I don't think so. Can you explain why you don't think so? I'd love to hear it. Not dating someone based on culture can be xenophobic. Not sharing values is different, in my opinion. Well, what if let's say, hypothetical, right? Let's say there are like a group of people who are just incredibly mean all the time, constantly to people, right? And that's just their culture. That's how they are. That's how they express love or affection for people. And you just don't like that as a person. You're like, man, it's really hard for me to get behind that. Are you xenophobic for saying that I don't want to date that kind of person? That's my question to you. Fart sound effect for. No, that's why it's called a preference. No, it can't be. It cannot be at all. You're telling me I couldn't provide you a single scenario in where you could see somebody's dating preference ever be racist or bigoted? Like, what if I say I don't date anybody outside of my race because I believe my race is superior to everybody else? Would that be? Relax. I'm doing good, man. I'm having a good time. I'm excited, okay? Don't confuse enthusiasm for stress. It's okay to be that way. It's okay to be what way? Do white women even like you because what the fuck? Oh my god. Yeah, they can be, but there's a difference between hating and not being attracted to. Sure, yeah. I think like you could say that there are plenty of white, black, brown, everybody types of people who I'm not attracted to, right? I feel like that's a fair thing to say. Sego TJ. Let's see. We got our first guest.
What up?
Hey, what's up? How you
Been a
doing, man?
minute. Been in your life before. We chatted.
Oh, cool. Thank you, the real socket, for the follow. So what do you think about the title here?
I mean, yeah, in some ways it could be, but I don't feel like having one would make you bigoted or racist. Like saying, for instance, saying I don't like my own race. I don't feel like that would be racist.
You think?
Or
Okay, wait. I saying that you don't like your own race. I feel like that's probably racist to say I don't
is
like
it?
my own race. Or what do you mean by that? Could you
Uh, uh,
clarify that? Thank you, Rogel, for the follow.
in dating, to be specific.
Oh, sure, sure. You don't want to date somebody within your own race.
Hmm.
Can I ask you, like, do you think someone saying that is just not racist at all? There's no way that could be racist, or what are you saying there?
I think there's a way in which it could be racist, but I don't think it is racist itself to say no.
I Sure. If we're
I,
saying
I
in
I think the word I'm
isolation,
trying to say is
maybe.
inherently.
Could I ask you? Could you provide me an example where somebody could say that they don't want to date within their own race and where that isn't racist? I just want to see that example because I feel like there's not a decent one in my head that I'm thinking about right now.
Um, I could use myself as an example.
Oh,
I love
sure.
black women, but if I was to say I didn't like black women because of my prior experiences with them, that wouldn't be racist.
Um, could you clarify there? Like you're saying, like just
Um,
you're because of your prior experiences, you have a belief about black women that you don't want to date them in the future, or what are you saying there?
yeah. Using a kind of like a broad spectrum. There is obviously a few women out there, black women out there that I would date. And mind you, this is all hypothetical. If there was, there are a few black women out there that I would date. but they do stray from the typical African American woman.
Well, sure. I think like okay, but why? Why are you excluding like black women specifically from your dating preference if you have bad experiences with them previously, right? You could have bad experiences with all types of people, and I'd still say
Of course.
that's like not acceptable to exclude certain people, or not acceptable. I think it's silly. It's probably a better way to put it. It's like silly to exclude certain people, right? Unless you have an opinion about something about their race that makes them that way, or what are you saying there? I'm interested.
Okay, but even then, in your own words, silly would not be bigoted or racist, though, right?
I think racist people are silly, or things that are racist are silly, right? Sure, I'm coaching my language there. I think saying that I don't want to date, like, so for example, if I told you, I don't want to date, I don't know, white people because every single white person I've talked to is incredibly smelly, and I don't want to be around smelly people. If I were to make that generalization about white people, I'd say that's probably racist, right? I think we would agree that making broad generalizations about people based off of their race is not good, right? It's prejudice, right? You're prejudging somebody before you even
Okay,
talk to
yeah.
them.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it'd be prejudice. I don't think that would be racist though,
Well,
because
racism is is a prejudice against a certain race, right? That's what being racist is. It's one aspect of it. You can be antagonistic or prejudice or what is it, discriminatory, and that would be another example. Like you being prejudiced against a certain race is being racist, right? You could say it's
yeah,
fine.
sure. Well, this is kind of where this conversation would have to branch off to. I feel like if um if we had it. So yeah. I still don't feel like that would be racist though within itself, saying that you don't like dating a specific type of race.
Um,
It just
no,
I feel like
within
having
I just don't see like a world where you could say that and where it wouldn't be racist, right? There is like when you're talking about excluding certain like a race from your dating preferences, right? There has to be like some sort of justification, right? And any sort of justification, unless it's reasonable, I would have to hear a reasonable like reason to exclude them. I just don't see it one like necessarily.
so could a non-racist reason be that I want my kids to have a lighter skin tone?
Um, you want your kids to have a certain skin tone, but why?
Uh, just that's just uh, hypothetical. This is just what I want.
Okay, what if you heard, like, let's say a white person says, I want my kids to be white. I want them to have a lighter skin tone.
Okay.
Do you think that's like not do you think it's like it's fine? It's like people should just like, it's like, it's not weird or anything, or it's not bizarre, or it's not like, uh, like racist.
Um,
Like I said, let's
no,
say I
no,
said,
not in all connotations. No, I don't think it would be racist.
I'm sorry. Well, how? Okay, if someone said, "I want to further my
Because
race, like
again, it's
of
not
white,"
attaching it to race, it's rather attaching it to the color of their skin.
what is race if not what the color of somebody's skin?
Um, hmm. Well, I don't think race is directly tied to the color of your skin because there are fair Mexicans, correct? There are Mexicans
Well,
that are very
Mexicans
white.
are isn't a race, right?
Okay, well, Hispanics, sorry.
Sure. I don't even
There
even
are white
then
skin. Yeah, well, there are. They exist and they're out there.
there are
So,
like okay, so the majority of Mexicans in Mexico are white, right? I think
uh,
yeah.
I know a
So
few that were born in Mexico and came to America. They have very fair skin.
sure, there can be people who have like different levels of like what is it,
Melanin.
melanin in their skin, right? Um, and I guess race isn't exclusively tied to that. But if
Yeah,
you're saying
exactly.
like sure. My question is, what is the reason for why somebody would want someone to have fairer skin, other than like what's the reason there?
Well, there doesn't have to be a reason. That in itself can be a reason, though. Correct?
Can,
Like
could I ask you if I were to say I only want to serve people with fairer skin, is that a problem?
you
Like
only want to
if I
serve
as like a
people
business
with
owner, I'm
fair
like I only
skin.
want to yeah I only want to serve people with fairer skin, is that an issue?
Um, it would probably be an issue
Because I only
with
want to
your
see that kind
employer.
of
I
people,
feel like,
right? Hmm?
but maybe not. I think it'd be an issue with your employer. I don't think it would be an issue with anyone else, or it shouldn't be rather. That's kind of their
No, I'm
It
saying
sounds like a skill issue,
my
essentially.
company. I say my company. I only want to serve like people with fair skin. Is that an issue or no?
Well, I mean that happens.
Sure, and I would say that's bad, right? Like that's why, yeah.
Well, I mean, cultural. Like so, for instance, Japan.
Uh
Japan
huh.
has restaurants where you cannot go if you are a foreigner. If you're not from Japan, you weren't born there. It'd be weird for you to go in there. And in fact, if you did go in there, you couldn't order food, and they would tell you to leave.
Um, sure, but I'd say that's wrong, right?
Well, I mean, it's
I'd
their
say,
culture, though. So their culture
it
is
could be their
wrong.
culture. If my culture is to like murder every person I see on the street, that's wrong, right? Just because someone's culture is
Yeah,
something
yeah,
doesn't
of
make it
course,
right.
but but it's their culture, and they're not hurting anyone. They're not.
No,
There's
they are.
no
I would say that I'd
who.
say like if we were to accept the standard that anybody could discriminate based off of race, right? That could very likely like
We do discriminate off of race. Affirmative action.
okay, so a couple of things there. That's a little bit not tangential. I don't agree with affirmative action necessarily. I don't know. I would assume because you're bringing it up, I don't think you agree with affirmative action necessarily either. Um, I, yeah, I don't agree with affirmative action. Yeah, I think it's bad. Probably not for the same
Well,
reasons
it
you think it is, but
exists. Yeah. It's not good. No, obviously, but it exists.
yeah, there's a lot of things that are bad that exist. Yeah,
But we still do it essentially
yeah.
in
I
Western
acknowledge that there are
culture.
bad things in the world, yes, but I would aspire to sort of try to live in a better world for tomorrow. No.
Of course, but we don't currently. So I feel like if someone wants to date within their own race exclusively, or vice versa, date outside of their own race, then that should be their option.
Um, sure. I'm not saying we should force people to wait. To be clear, I'm not saying we should force people to do such, but I'm saying like I would believe it to be a wrong thing, right? Based off of the opinions there.
Okay,
Do you
so
think that businesses should be able to discriminate based off of race?
um, mm, well, I mean, I, I don't feel like I am at liberty to discriminate, not discriminate, at liberty to, what's the word? Bash, say, Japanese culture because they don't allow foreigners into their restaurant. That's not my place. I don't own the
Why
restaurant. I
is it not
don't.
your place? I don't understand. We're having a discussion about morals, right? You're saying, well,
Is it
sure, it
moral?
doesn't have to
That's the
be.
question.
Let's say you don't have to bash Japanese culture, right? If I say murder is wrong and there's a culture that believes murder is right, that's not bashing their culture. That's just saying an opinion that you have about the world, right?
Okay,
Uh,
so your question is it moral essentially?
yeah, is it right? Is it wrong? Yeah.
Hmm. But what decides moral if not culture?
What decides moral if not
Society.
logic and reason?
What
Is what
does?
I would say, my friend. Logic
Well,
and reason.
but again, though, if everyone murdered people in the streets, then murdering people in the streets would be
Would be good. You would say
normal.
that
Would
you
be well, I wouldn't say it'd be good. Well, I mean, at the same time, though, would you not say it would be good? Why are we murdering people in the streets for one? If it's to lower the population to increase food for the world, like yeah, then yeah, technically it would be good. But
Oh,
it's
true.
it's
Okay, so
not.
if we had a justification, yeah, it would be good. If there was a reason as to why murdering random people was there, then yeah, that would be good. But that would be like that's different, right? If we're unjustifiably just murdering everybody around, right? If
Of
we're just
course,
killing
exactly.
left, right, and center, right? That would be bad, right? So yeah, you just made a moral claim there, right? And that's not that moral claim isn't necessarily based off of culture or anything like that. It's based off of logic and reasoning. Right, so I would ask you.
It was based off of culture. I said in the instance where it was normal in our culture to murder people in the streets at will, uh, because well, it helps with food. It helps us. It makes the planet more sustainable. We have a lower carbon footprint when we murder people. So, and this is hypothetical. This is our imaginary world where murdering people in the streets is okay. I'm not saying that in our world that would be okay, but I'm
No,
saying
I'm
that in
saying,
that world it would be okay and good.
but culture doesn't dictate
I
morality.
said no. So I corrected myself. I said culture initially, but I meant to say society.
Okay, society doesn't dictate morality. It's the same statement.
I think it does.
Why do you believe that?
That culture and or society that determines
What's right
morality?
and wrong? Society dictates what's right and wrong. Can I ask you a question then?
Yes.
Um, let's say, what's an example? Slavery. Uh,
Okay.
when slavery was happening,
Perfect example.
society as a whole was kind of approving of it. Do you think that that means that slavery is right because society was
So
approving it at the
so
time?
so this is a perfect example. At the time, yes, slavery was perfectly fine. That's why they were doing it.
You
No one
see
was
the
no one
absurdity
was
there.
look, there is an absurdity there, but that's just how it was. That's how it,
No, no,
so
no, no,
at
no,
the time
no,
you
no, no.
think
Wait,
people
wait,
were
wait.
like,
You're claiming. Understand? You're saying that slavery is right at the time, and that morality changes over time. People's opinions about what is right and wrong may change, but what like it was slavery
okay,
wasn't good
look,
back
so
then. It was wrong to
so
do it then, and it's
of
wrong to do it
course,
now, right?
of course, but I don't think the slave owners are going, I gotta buy these slaves. I have to do it. Oh, it's just, this is bad. This is wrong. But I'm gonna keep doing it though. No, that's not how it
No,
was.
no, 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 no. Yeah, like whether or not they have the correct opinion is not relevant. That's not what we're talking about. Plenty of people have wrong opinions. My point is whether or not something is right. Society does not dictate whether or not something is right or wrong.
That
That would
wasn't
be
an
my statement.
opinion. That wasn't
Huh?
their opinion. That wasn't an opinion at the time. It was regular Western society. Slavery was regular. It was the normal. So it
Yeah,
was
just because
moral at the
something is
time.
normal, like that's still an opinion, right? That the vast majority of people had, right? Just because that was a thing that was happening, just because it's happening doesn't mean it's right. Is that fair? Like, just because society says something doesn't mean that it's the be all end all of how we judge
So
morality.
of course not today. I see where you're coming from, but you're kind of like looping in a circle here. We're not I'm not saying slavery is okay today or
No, it
slavery
wasn't
was
okay back then either. It was.
I'm
That's what
not
I'm
saying
telling you.
but it was though.
No,
Slavery
it's
was
just
okay back then.
wait, okay. So you're saying that if you went back in time and you would say like all the slavery that was happening there, that's just all good. You know, that was okay.
Yes, it was okay. That's why it happened. So what do you I'm just confused at what you thought or where you thought the mindset of the slave owners
I want you to.
was when they were owning slaves and
Their mindset was wrong. I don't know how to explain this to you.
I'm
People who
saying, what
commit
do you think?
atrocities are
So,
wrong,
to
bro.
them, do you think they were wrong?
No, they don't think they were wrong, but that doesn't
Oh,
mean that
that's
they're
my
right.
point. So, at the time, they didn't think that they were wrong.
But that doesn't mean they're right. If I
Of
don't believe
course,
I'm
not
wrong, that doesn't make me
today.
right. Do you have a
Of course, not today. But owning slaves back then was right. It was the right
No,
thing
it
to do.
wasn't. No, 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 no. If you go back then, right? If you have your opinions that you have now, and you go back then, right? You're not gonna turn around and see all the bad stuff happening and be like, oh yeah, it's all good. I think it's all good. You know, it's all good. No, you're gonna obviously think the correct opinion, which that slavery is wrong, dude. How can you make this argument? I'm actually so shocked.
I'm shocked too. I'm just really confused at what you thought they were thinking while they were owning the slave. They didn't think it was wrong at the
No,
time.
I understand. I understand that they don't think it was wrong, but they're wrong about that opinion.
Today, of course, yeah.
No, no, no. They were wrong back then too. Of course they were wrong. They don't know that they were wrong, but they were wrong. Just because if I commit, if so, you're saying that morality is based off of whether or not I believe it to be wrong, so I can do whatever I want and it's okay.
Mm,
Because that's what you're saying.
Um, hmm. Morality. So you're. I think where the disconnect is coming from is the time. If at the time it was okay, then no, they didn't think that they were morally wrong. In fact, they didn't think that African Americans or Africans were human. They didn't think that they were on the same level as them.
Yeah,
But
even then, even then, even if you believe that, that's not true, right? That's wrong, right? African Americans or Africans at the time, right, are human, right? That's a statement that is true, 100%. So if I hold the opinion that African Americans are not human, that would be wrong, right? That is a wrong opinion. Do you understand that?
in today's society, yes,
No, no,
it
back
could
then
switch
too.
tomorrow,
By
bro.
human, the definition of human, they qualified as human. Like I don't
I'm
know what to
saying,
tell you.
I'm saying, I'm saying. How do I put this? If tomorrow we decided that dogs now have rights, so would we call it wrong that we treated dogs as pets today?
Um, would we if we decided tomorrow? What does decided mean? Like
If collectively the entirety of the earth said, okay, guys, dogs have human rights now. I can't believe what we did. Do you think people would say, "Oh wow, we're such terrible people for what we did in 2023"?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. If there was some sort of revelation where we learned that actually animals do have rights and that that there's some sort of like understanding about animals, and yeah, we would probably think what we're doing today is wrong, right? There's even vegans who argue what we are doing today is wrong, right? So yeah, if we decided as a society, like if we found out, right, it's not deciding, it's like we find out that that vegans are right, then yeah, obviously we would think that all the horrible atrocities that we committed before is wrong. Yes, that is true. It is wrong. Like back then they were wrong. Like they had a wrong opinion. They
Of
didn't view
course.
people in the way that they should have, and they had that wrong opinion at the time because they believed something about the world that wasn't true. That's what makes it wrong. It's not like feelings, it's not nothing like that. It's like it's just they had an opinion and that was wrong, right? That was it.
It sounds like you're bouncing in between wrong moralistically and wrong um what would be the word? Wrong like mentally. And I don't think today we would think that dogs today, like saying that we switched it in 2024 that dogs now have rights, that today as me and you stand here that we were wrong for owning dogs as house pets. Do you see what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
That no one would see it as wrong as owning house pets.
Right now, today. Do you own a dog?
No, I don't have a dog.
Well, okay. Imagine you had a dog,
Sure, imagine I
Fido.
have a dog. Yeah,
You have
sure,
a
go for
dog,
it.
Fido. He's your best friend. He's cool. He's a good dog. He does tricks. Fido. Um, if we decided in 2024 that dogs now have rights, do you feel like right now your present self that has Fido is wrong? Do you feel wrong for owning Fido
Um, I may not feel wrong, but I could be wrong, right? I may
in the
not.
future? Correct.
Sure, yeah,
So
that
not right
person,
now.
yeah, no, yeah, because I'm wrong, right? I have a wrong opinion there, right? That's the whole point. I may not feel that. No one ever acts in a way where they think they're doing something wrong. That's not why
Of
like
course.
murder is bad, right? So if I murder somebody, that could feel good, right? But that doesn't mean I'm right. Does that make sense? It doesn't. My opinion, my feelings of how I feel about it does not is independent about what is right and wrong.
And to go back to that, if murdering people was the standard, if murdering people was okay, then no one would bat an eye. It wouldn't be wrong until we
No, no,
decided until
it would still be wrong.
it wouldn't be.
Even if everybody disagreed with me, right? It would still be wrong. Does that make sense? Like it would still be wrong. It doesn't matter. Like I could be the only person on earth who believes that murder is wrong, and I would still be correct, right? It doesn't matter. Uh, other like yeah, that's basically it. You having an opinion doesn't make it like society having an opinion doesn't make that opinion right or wrong. It's like the reasoning behind it that makes it right or wrong, right? That's
The reasoning behind it is what makes it right or wrong. So we'll go back to this imaginary world where murdering people is okay. There is a reason behind it.
what's the reason.
Um, population control.
Okay, sure. So that's no longer like just randomly murdering people. Now
Yeah,
we're
of course.
systematically murdering people because of a population
Hmm.
control thing. Yeah, sure. Then at that point it would be justified and it would be right. But we don't live in that world. Sure. Yeah, but at that point, like that's not society changing their opinion. There's actual justifiable reasons as to why it wouldn't be wrong. Does that make sense? It's no longer like opinions of society based on. Um okay, dude. I'm gonna have some other people
Someone
come in
else
here.
join. But
Yeah, yeah. But
do you get my point at least that society? I feel like society definitely does have influence on what is morally correct and what is not. I
I
that's my last message.
sure, sure, sure. See you, my
All
dude.
right,
See
for
you, see
sure,
you.
for sure. Thank
Have a
you.
nice
Thanks for
day.
having me on. You too, you
Mm-hmm.
too.
Okay, okay. Desi Vaga. Let's see. Okay, we kind of got lost in the sauce there, but it's okay. How you
Hello.
doing, Desi Vaga? How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Yeah, I can tell. But I guess my first question would be would you say the same? Would you say that people are fat phobic for having a preference of not wanting to date a fat person or a bigger person?
That's a good question. Um, the thing there is right. Like, I think I'll just give you. I'll just answer the question directly, I don't think so, right? I don't think that someone is necessarily fat phobic for, but it could be, right? Does that make sense? It could be fat phobic. You understand what I'm saying there, or should I?
Yeah, so I can definitely understand that. I could say the same thing with this topic. I would just necessarily point out the fact that people are allowed to have preferences. I mean, the same thing I always say with the whole body count topic. I know that that's a hot topic right now for some reason, I think because of Tay or whoever.
Yeah, just social.
But I just think as long as you're not going out here shaming people for that or saying like, oh yeah, personally, I don't date black people. Oh yeah, I would never date a fat person. Oh yeah, I'd never date a person with a high body count. Like if you're actually going out of your way to come out here and say stuff like that, then yeah, I could see that as disrespect and probably in its own way like racist or bigoted or
Something
what
like
have
that.
you.
Yeah,
But
wrong.
having
Sure.
that preference, I don't think so. I can say I had a crush on a mixed dude in school
Hmm.
and could see myself with him. But my personal preference is usually just white guys, and that's what I've usually been drawn to since kindergarten. Like I literally had a crush in kindergarten that was like a little white dude, and I've just noticed through time like that's just mainly what I've been attracted to. And it could be for a lot of factors. Could be because of like the media or like what I've seen on TV growing up as a kid. I mean, it could be a lot of things, but that's just naturally what I'm drawn towards. Like with many other factors that are present in in a man when I'm like looking to date somebody. So it's like I'm not out here like shutting off other races. Like if a mixed dude or whatever, Asian dude or anything like a Hispanic dude, because I'm Hispanic myself, was
Yeah.
to tell me that they were interested in me and I like actually like them as a person, like yeah, I'm gonna want to like see what they're about. Like I wouldn't shut that person off, but I still just naturally have my own preference when I'm like looking out to date somebody.
Sure. Sure. So basically, what you're saying is that generally you just tend to date white dudes. That just seems to be the trend that you say. But here's the difference in the reasoning that I'm hearing from you. It's not necessarily that you are outwardly looking for white people, right? It's just that just happens to be what the types of people that you've been attracted to in the past, right? Like you said, you've been attracted to like not a non-white people before, right? If somebody told you
Mhm.
like I only date white people, I only date white people, even if like by itself like a dating preference of like white people, right? Like I just tend to like white people sometimes, right? um by itself is not racist. If someone tells you I only date a certain race, you have to ask the very next question you're going to ask is, well, why? Like, why do you only date that race? And I think usually the reasoning behind that is not very good. And at that point, I think it's like a racist opinion, right? So if I say I only date white people because I believe them to be better, just all white people are better, like that's obviously racist, right? And therefore, that dating preference is also racist. Do you understand what I'm saying there?
Yeah, like I said, like if you're like going out of your way to come out here and be like, "Oh yeah, I'd never date this particular race or I'd never date a fat person." Like I just feel like there's no reason to like kind of put that out there because it's like okay, like who cares? Like I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know, like
sure.
that to me would come off as disrespect, but personally like me, I wouldn't date a fat person or like someone that's like obese or what have you
Mhm.
because it just doesn't align with like my lifestyle values and like I would want my partner to be healthy or like like there's just a lot of like not sharing the same values there. So that I could see in that, but race is a totally different topic. So I
Yeah,
I, I
sure.
don't know. I would just say people are allowed to have their preferences, and I feel like we're trying to cancel people for this, that, and the third nowadays. And to
No,
me, it's
I
just like
I, I
like
agree
why
with
do you
that
care?
part.
Yeah, it's like why do you care who people want to date because of what? And it's like someone will pick you. It's like I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying like people that like care so much. It's like someone
Yeah,
will
I
like
understand
you
what
and
you're saying.
someone will want to date you for your race or what have you, sharing the same values or whatever factor it is.
I'd also say the fundamental distinction between like something compared to race or compared to being fat, for example, is that being fat is usually most of the time a choice, right? Like that's 100% like somebody like it's based off of lifestyle and habits and things like that, right?
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different there. Um, but other than that, yeah, and I think like deciding to date a certain person because of like the place that they were born is probably silly. Like it's like if somebody who believes in astrology, for example, was like, I only date Leos. I think everyone would kind of be like, that's wrong and kind of silly and stupid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's like the same thing with the racial dating preferences. But yeah, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we largely agree on most of this here. So I'm gonna let somebody else in if that's okay with you, buddy.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that we agree on it being racist or bigoted, but I would say it is like disrespectful to go out of your way to be like, oh yeah, no, I would never date this or that because of that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, sure.
yeah, we had a good conversation though. But all
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
I'll hop
Thank you.
down.
Yeah, thank you. Have a nice day.
Yeah, you too.
Okay, okay. Let's read some of the comments for today. Let's see. It's not for you to say. What is not for me to say? Uh, right now, right. Nothing wrong with that. What's nothing wrong with FVBG? Good luck. Let's see. If she ain't 38, she ain't a lady. What? Okay. It's like being attracted to tall men rather than short. No, it's like being attracted to tall men rather than short. Okay, that's an interesting perspective there, right? I'd say like, is it exclusionary to only want to date tall people? I'd say we'd probably agree that it's maybe a little bit silly. I guess it depends on the reasoning as to why. Just having a light preference is okay and not racist. What do you mean by light preference? If someone hates a race and refuses to date, that's definitely racist. Exactly, 100%. Yeah, that's what I've been trying to say there. I don't think like every single like preference that somebody has when they're dating somebody is going to be like racist or bigoted. I hope that's not what I'm trying to communicate here. It's just that sometimes when you have an opinion, depending on where it comes from, it could be racist or not. Exactly, everyone has their own preference. Sure, I just say like depending on where that opinion comes from. So like, I think maybe we shouldn't say immediately when someone says I only date a certain race that that person's racist, but you should probably ask them why the fuck are you only dating a certain race? Like what's going on there? If there's like maybe a justifiable reason, I would love to hear it, but I don't think I've heard one basically. Maybe it's just like I just like how the skin color looks and I'm just attracted to that skin color. Sure, maybe at that point I could maybe see it, but at the same time, personally, even then it's a little silly. I don't think it would be racist at that point, but it's just a little silly to me. No, if you're not attracted to someone for any reason, it's fine. Really, there could be a reason. There's no reason that you would find that is absurd for somebody not to be attracted to somebody. If I said I don't want to date somebody because I don't know, like I believe that all white people are evil. Is that wrong? Is that wrong or no? Or like I feel like that would be wrong. Yeah. Why does it matter? I don't know. Like having the most right opinion is important, I guess. Why does anything matter? Why does anybody else's opinion about anything even matter, right? My man out here struggling with women. Good for you. I don't know. I'm doing fine. Niners. People are fine with discriminating in action, just scared of being called racist officially. Ooh, interesting. That's a pretty good point there, actually. Yeah. As long as it's okay if I'm discriminatory towards people, but as long as I'm not explicitly called out for being discriminatory, it's all good. No, that's still fine. It's still fine. You think it's fine to be like racist towards people? Is that what you're saying, Kyle Jones? I don't think that's what you're saying. Who you dating being racist or not is separate. I mean, it could be linked, right? Like if I have like if you're racist, you're probably not going to also date like the races that you're racist towards. And whose opinion matters, yours or the person that's going to date? I mean, I feel like both people in that instance. No, Syrian rap. Let's come on in. Hey, how you doing?
Yo, what's going on?
Hey. What do you think about the what we've been talking about here?
I think the only way it could be racist is if you were like, I'm sure you've heard this before, and a lot of people have heard this, like where a lot of people say, I don't want to taint my gene pool by dating XYZ people. You
That
know what
sounds
I
like
mean?
pretty. Yeah, I mean, just saying that it just sounds racist. No,
Yeah,
like,
that's racist. But like if, for example, like I'm not into dudes, so like I'm not gonna date a dude, right?
mm-hmm.
That's a preference, right? It's not gonna change.
Yeah,
But
sure, sure, sure.
that doesn't make me like homophobic or anything,
No,
right?
100%, and I agree with you there. No. I to be clear, like
So
I said before, it's not like
so
every single like preference that you have is going to be bigoted, right? That's not what I'm trying to say.
right,
I'm saying like
right,
it just depends where it comes from. Like if it comes from
right.
like
Yeah,
a
where it stems from is yeah, absolutely. But like even if, you know, I'm a good-hearted person, I'm still not going to date a dude. Like that doesn't stem from anywhere. It's just like my preference is a woman. I love women.
Sure.
As a
Let me
as
give
a
you a
friend, I
hypothetical.
love a dude. Like dudes are cool, be around shit, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. But let me ask you a hypothetical here. What if you didn't date dudes because you thought dudes were going to be the end of the world? Is that like bigoted against dudes?
If
Don't
I thought dudes were going to be the end of the world,
Yeah, like that, like I don't know. You thought like it was like some conspiracy that all dudes are like all men are evil, right? That kind of thing.
oh
Like you
yeah,
thought,
yeah. I
and then
mean,
that's why.
I guess you could put it into that aspect, like saying I don't like this type of person because they are evil or bad or whatever. Yeah, there's a
There's
definite. Yeah,
there's an
go ahead.
aspect of bigotry there, right? And I would agree with
Right.
you.
Yeah. But like, that's not what preferences is. Like preference, hatred is should be well, shit. I guess your hatred for something could uh affect your preferences, of course.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of the whole
Um,
point that I'm saying. Yeah.
but like, I've dated all sorts of women. You know, big,
Hmm.
tall, skinny. You know, I'm not the best looking dude out here. You know, I've dated a lot of women, and you know, I have nothing against you know, quote unquote races or whatever, but I do, you know, have my preferences. That it doesn't make me bigoted or you know transphobic or homophobic or fat phobic or whatever you want to call it. It doesn't make me that. It's just my preferences. I like certain things, just like as a woman would like certain things in a male. You know, same thing. You know, it's preferences. You know, there's nothing wrong with having preferences, having standards, having having something to look for inside your ideal person, partner that you want to be with, right?
Sure,
So,
sure, sure, sure.
like, if
It, it
I,
it just depends on
well,
where, like I said, it depends on where it comes from. Like if
right,
I
absolutely.
yeah, 100%.
I think it's like a lot of times these people who do judge based on the outer looks of a certain individual often have self-image issues themselves. That's
Yeah.
why you know what I mean? Like I don't think it really is a hatred of the other people. I think it's more of a hatred of themselves, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
You
Yeah, for
know,
sure.
it stems from like deeper than just a basic statement like, "Oh, they hate so such and such people." Well, why is that? It goes way deeper than that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, okay.
Yeah,
It's been nice talking to you, man. I appreciate the contribution, the conversation here. But I'm gonna have somebody else hop on here. I appreciate you though.
yeah, absolutely,
Um,
man. Take care.
you too, you too. Okay.
What's up?
Okay. Um, I want to answer because I see. I think FV Glow is confused about my position. To be clear, what I believe, right, is that there are certain preferences that can be racist, but not all racial dating preference even are racist, right? I don't think. I think someone in the comments brought up a good point. I don't think it's really possible to explain why you don't like dating a certain race without sounding racist. I feel like there's not really. I haven't heard a solid, justifiable reason as to why you wouldn't date a certain race without it being racist. You know what I'm saying? Can you give an example? I don't know. Like I just let me try to think. Well, example of what specifically, which means it's racist. Yeah, usually. If I exclusively hate Haitians, but I'm okay with every other person of color, am I racist? Probably not, but it's probably like some sort of bigotry, right? Okay, let's. I think Mayo Colimix was coming up next. So hey, how it would be racist. Let's say I don't like dating white people because I believe white people are inherently evil. That would be racist, right? That's an example of something being racist. Hey, how you doing? Male Colomix.
Hey, what's going on, bro?
Hey, how you doing?
Um, my buddy Gay in Despair, he says he requested first, but I did request first, buddy. I'll let you get the next one. Uh, wait, so your position is that sometimes it is racist?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if you have a certain racial preference, I think most of the time, if someone says I have a racial preference, it's probably racist. I think that's probably like the position I'd hold there. Yeah.
Okay, my position would be that yes, sometimes it is racist because if I were to go and say that I would not if I would not I would say I would never date a black woman, that is a racist racial preference because I don't know every single black woman. I don't know who it is that I'd be dating. So that would be an instance of a racist thought because you're generalizing a group of people that you don't even know. And then if you were to ask someone to justify these beliefs, usually they would say, well, and then they would list a bunch of stereotypes that not every single person of that racial or ethnicity would adhere to. So I think it would kind of just be, it's just kind of a silly
Let
thing
me
to have
let
a
me ask
racial
you a question.
preference.
Let me ask you a question. Let's say I just don't like how the color of white people's skin, right? Like I'm not saying that's a position I hold. Let's just say that somebody said that to you. What do you think that I just don't like that color? Do you think that's racist or not? Do you think it's racist to not like a certain color of somebody's skin? Is my question.
Um, I I don't know if that's racist, but I would consider that it's still problematic. I think if someone has a preference or a desire for a specific uh, skin color or complexion, that
Uh-huh.
would indicate to me that you're more likely fetishizing someone rather than dating someone for who they are specifically. It's like if I went on a date with someone just because they had white skin, I mean, I'm reducing that person down to the color of their skin, not
Sure, but
necessarily the
they're
values that
saying
they
that.
could bring to a relationship.
Sure, let's say that we're saying like they're saying that if given the option between two people who looked exactly the same except for the color of their skin, right? And they say that they have a preference of one skin color over another. Do you think that that would be a racist thing to say?
Then I would, I mean, ask that one more time.
Yeah, let's say somebody says, okay, I have two. There's two people who are exactly the same. They look exactly the same, and they everything is the same about them except for the fact that one of them is brown and one of them is white, right? For example, like let's just say, and they say I always choose the brown person, right? Do you think that that is a racist thing? You think that somebody
Uh,
who
yeah, again, I think it's coming down to that. I would not call that racist. It's still problematic and and wrong for me to think that way because it has nothing to do with um, it's more superficial rather than because
I mean,
then
attraction is kind of
you would try to have to
superficial, right?
argue that people with darker complexions aren't beautiful, which is, I mean,
No, 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 no.
how do
That's
you
not that's
justify
not
a
the
claim like
argument
that?
though. Right, right. The argument
No,
would
no,
be
no.
that
But like I'm saying, if that person were to say something like that, they would have to make a claim that, well, I don't believe that these people are attractive to, or they're not attractive to me. But I mean, can you really say that people with darker complexions or people with lighter complexions, who's really thinking this way? I don't.
I don't. I mean, I'm sure there's some people who would say this, but like, uh, yeah. To be clear, just because you wouldn't date somebody doesn't mean that you don't think they're beautiful, right? Yeah, or like attraction is subjective in that way, right? So, for example, if you say, I, given the exact same people, they look exactly the same, except for the fact one is tall, one is short, and you're like, I prefer short people over tall people, right? Like, would we say that that's like a problematic view to have? Would you say that's a problematic view?
I want to. So the way that I see that is like when you're dating somebody, well, like when you are dating, like not dating someone, but just like in the process of trying to date people, you might have preferences. Like I would prefer to have someone who is taller than me, because that's what I've grown up seeing in the media, and that's what all my friends have, and that's what my
That sense of
parents have.
comfort, right? Sure,
Yeah, because you're conditioned to think that that is what a relationship looks to you.
sure.
But when you step back and you challenge those ideas, you'll say, okay, actually, that's pretty silly. I don't think a lot of people really challenge these preferences and ideas because what would be the reason that you would prefer to have somebody who's taller than you?
Um, what would be? I think they look better. I think I like when I look up at people. Sure, why not?
Right,
Why
but
not? I
why?
like feeling small. I like feeling
Why is that?
small.
Why?
Why is there's probably environmental and genetic reasons that all mix together to form my attraction, right? Yeah, I just like feeling small, right? I'm not saying this is how I am, but I've heard women say this before, where they like, I like dating tall people because I like to feel smaller or whatever, or I like to feel protected or something like that. It brings me a sense of comfort. Do you think that these people are being problematic for having that view?
I guess not. I mean, I think women who have height preferences aren't always being problematic. But I think
But
that
how is that different from
I
the?
think
Yeah.
well, so the difference that I feel is that when you start introducing color and race into the mix, now it appears as though you're coming off as racist. So if you're, I'm not saying that it is because I don't really know. I think like once you say, well, I would never date somebody black, yeah, that's not borderline racism, that is racism. But now I think if you're saying, well, I only prefer someone who has a lighter or fairer complexion, that's colorism. But I still think it's it's still related to racism in some part because people have always been told that with a darker complexion, it means that you work out in the fields, you work outside, you're of a lower social economic status, whereas people with a lighter complexion, um, you worked indoors, you have a nicer job, you're more wealthy. A
But
lot
what
of
if that's not the
a lot.
reason? But what if that's not like the reason that somebody says that's why they prefer to date somebody like that? Let's just say that that just happens to be their preference, right? Like, it could maybe it came from media in some way, sure, but like they're not dating those people because they view them as lesser or anything like that. They just don't find them attractive as other people. Would you say that that's like that's wrong?
I can't really fault someone for having. I can't say it's morally wrong or something like that to say you have an attraction for one group of people. So you got me there. I will just say that if you're someone who goes on social media and you're saying I only date these groups of people, that is wrong. That's because, and I'll explain it. It's wrong because it's rude and unnecessary. When you can just state you state who it is that you are and what you want from a relationship, rather than talking about the people that you're going to exclude. So don't even bother messaging you. If you have a preference of this sort, then you need to just politely say I'm not interested or something. But I'm not saying I would. I'm not that kind of person. I'm not as shallow or superficial, so I've never done anything like that. But I think it's wrong how you handle having a preference because now if you're saying, "Well, I only date short guys," yeah, I kind of it's kind of a weird, icky thing. I don't know.
Sure, it can be. Did my thing cut out for a second? My bad.
Yeah, a little
Hello?
bit.
I
Yeah,
said, yeah, it could be weird or icky, but that's a little bit different than like wrong or right in that instance. Okay, yeah, it was interesting talking to you, my dude. I hope we can talk more in the future. But I'm
yeah, sure.
gonna
I'll follow
rotate
you.
you out. See you, buddy. Yeah, thank you for the follow, and thank you for everybody following as well. Thank you. I think we got like 10 followers already, so thank you. See you. It's literally preference. Cool. None is. Um. Okay. Let's see. Michelle too. Hello.
Hey,
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. What do you think about what we're talking about here? I'm
Um,
interested to hear your thoughts.
I definitely think it is racist to not date a whole race of people.
Um,
Um, do you want me to say why I believe that?
sure, yeah.
Because every feature can exist within a group of people. So like just say um you're like I don't date Asian people, right? Because you just
Uh-huh.
don't like, but you're thinking about Asian people in a stereotypical way,
Sure.
like you're thinking of how they stereotypically look. But there's a
Mm-hmm.
vast um there's like a very vast way of Asian person can look, and an Asian person could look like a white person. An Asian person could be very dark skinned. Um, so just saying, like, as soon as you could be attracted to a human, a person, and then if you find out that they're Asian, or you find out that they're a different race, and then you're like, I don't want to date them, um right there is like racism, because you think that one race is better than the other.
Interesting. Okay. Fascinating. Yeah. Okay. That's not a perspective I really thought about before, actually. Specifically the part about, like, technically every single person could look like any person. So let me ask you a question. Let's say I only like to date people with fairer complexion. I just think that looks better on people. I just like how that looks. Is that a racist thing to say? I asked you that. Yeah.
Do you only find people, so you're saying like you only find people with fair skin, like pretty and attractive,
Yeah.
like
That's
enough
the
for
only
you
types
want
of
to
people.
date them?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can find like all types of people attractive or pretty, but not enough to where I would want to date them. But yeah, let's say it's not me. I'm just saying hypothetically in this scenario.
I
That's
feel like
that.
if we stick with specific features, then that's a preference.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
like if you're saying a race, the only way that you would think to not date a race is if you think of them stereotypically, because it's just races,
Yeah.
like
It's
people
so
mix,
broad.
all these other things. So if you say like specifically, I'm not attracted to a short person, that doesn't mean that you think all short people are like ugly or whatever, but you wouldn't date them because you don't like that type of, like, that physical feature. If
Yeah.
it's physical feature, like me personally, I don't I don't like with people with blue eyes. I just think it's too intense for me, so I don't really date people with blue eyes. I date one guy with blue eyes, but I didn't even, that relationship didn't even last because I didn't like it. I like darker eyes. But that's a specific feature, and if you like that feature, that's fine. But say, like, grouping features with races and then saying that's the reason why you won't
Yeah.
date a race
Sure.
is like,
Sure.
is
Sure.
wild
We're
to me.
broad generalizations. It's just like silly as well, right? It's
Yeah, it's silly.
because it's probably not even accurate to your actual preferences either. It's not
Right.
necessarily that you don't want to date any white people. It's just that you don't like that complexion of skin that most white people have, right?
Yeah.
That's like that. Okay, yeah, sure. Okay, this is not really you. I think you put into words more what I was thinking beforehand. I you have my phone. Hello, can you
Oh
hear me
yeah,
here?
it cut out.
Yeah, sorry. I think you've moved me more on this position here. I appreciate your perspective here, but I want to go on some people who disagree. If that's okay with you, it's
Oh,
been nice talking.
I disagree with. I feel like you can find anybody in any race attractive. I just think it stems from, I feel like people say I don't date certain races because of like personalities they think these races have, mostly.
Yeah,
Because every time people mention I don't date a specific race, because they usually say like personality traits that race has, and that's why you don't want to date that race.
but
And
that
I feel
doesn't
like
make sense.
that's
Yeah,
inherently racist and
sure,
bigoted,
for sure. Oh, thank you for the sub there. Yeah, but okay, thank you. It's been nice talking to you, buddy. I hope you have a
Yeah.
nice day.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you. Oh my God, I didn't even know that we have the subs working. If you see that in chat, there's me, but I'm the Joker. It's right there. It's me, but I'm the Joker. Thank you guys. Are cultural traits real? It depends on what you mean by that. Can you be more specific? Is only bigotry when someone who doesn't want you back? What do you mean by that? I don't know what you mean. No, I'm not racist, lol. And that doesn't make you racist, right, Audi? No, I don't care. I don't prefer to date my own race entirely because it's too close to home. Um, Okay, wait. What if there was somebody? Because I think you're the lady that said I don't want to date anybody because they look like my brothers. What if there was somebody who was your same race but they look nothing like your brothers, like at all? Would you want to date them at that point? They you didn't even think about your brothers when you talked to them. Okay. I think yeah. I'm more on the side of what we were talking about before. I understand now. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna head off for now because I got a lot more tired a lot more quickly than I thought I would. Jesus Christ. But it's been fun talking to y'all. I appreciate all the subbing or all the stuff as well, all the donations and stuff. I appreciate it. I'm gonna be live again tomorrow. I'm probably going to figure out a schedule that I want to do every day. But please follow the stream if y'all like this conversation, like anything how I talked about. These are the types of conversations we're going to be having in the future. I hope y'all have a nice day. See ya.